What's going on, guys? Luke Innes here. I've not long gotten back from the cinema. I've just been to see Don't Breathe. It might seem like I'm a little late to the party, but we actually got this one a little late in the UK, which is a shame. Although we are getting Blair Witch a day early, I believe, so swings and roundabouts, but that does look a bit crap. I'm hoping to be proven wrong on that. So obviously the movie's directed by Fede Alvarez, stars Stephen Lang and Jane Levy. Essentially, Jane Levy plays a girl called Rocky who is desperate to escape her life in impoverished Michigan with an abusive mother and stepfather. She, along with two of her friends, become involved in a string of thefts from rich homes, essentially. They find out about a particular home owned by a blind man, where a large amount of money is believed to be being kept that he won in the settlement over his daughter's death in a road traffic accident. They break into the house in an attempt to find the money, which would be enough to end their life of crime, and it turns out that this guy is a veteran and is significantly more capable of defending his home than they might at first think. So this is an interesting movie for sure. I mean, it's not a totally brand new concept, this idea of blind assailants, but it is done in a very interesting way. I mean, one of the things that I really enjoyed about the movie is that there was some very interesting camera work during the initial burglary that really made you feel like you were there. It was kind of continuous one-shot stuff that makes you feel like you're in the house looking around while these guys are kind of, you know, searching the house with you. You know, all of that side of thing, the immersion and stuff, is all very effective. That is the thing that this movie does really well. I've got to say that I think what they were trying to do with the whole moral duality element of the plot, in that these characters who do the break-in are, you know, obviously kind of bad guys in their own right, although they try to sort of moralise it somewhat. That kind of moral duality, whilst I get what they're trying to do with it, I don't think it's too well executed. You know, like for example, you know, Rocky's mother and stepfather are very easy to, you know, they're only in the movie for about 30 seconds, and they're very easy hate figures. You know, that they're, you know, the mother's a foul-mouthed harridan, and the stepfather's got a swastika tattooed on his hand, so, you know, that's simple enough. And, you know, all of that sort of thing comes together quite awkwardly, the whole moral duality element. One thing I do like that's connected in with that, though, and obviously I'm not going to spoil it because this is still a new movie out, but around the halfway mark, maybe a little bit later, more like 5/8 or something, there's a big twist in the movie that kind of transfers the focus of who is right and who is wrong onto it reorders it. It's, you know, and you kind of find out that this guy, the blind guy, is holding onto some dark secrets. That kind of works, that whole switching up of the narrative. The thing that I really go all in on with this movie is that it is a really tense movie. They've done a really great job with that. Yeah, in terms of jump scares, there are jump scares there, obviously. It's a horror movie, they just tend to have them. But they were kind of few and far between, and they didn't feel too cheap. There was one that was kind of a little bit cheap, but not to the level of kind of a Paranormal Activity where, you know, there'll be a loud bang for no reason just to kind of frighten you. You know, all of this was stuff, you know, all of the kind of jump scare type things were because of things happening in the story. It's not a cattle prod movie necessarily. I've got to say, I mean, this is a 15 rated movie. It's not the most all out of gore you'll ever see. So the actual violence is relatively strong. There's a couple of scenes of sexual menace as well that are kind of will get under your skin. I kind of think it's a shame that there wasn't a little bit more of that, because this isn't a restrained movie in terms of its scares. I don't think it needs to be as restrained as it is in terms of its gore. I definitely think pumping up the gore would have been a bit more fitting of the kind of movie this is. But other than that, I've got to say I did enjoy the movie quite a bit. Like I say, not without problems. Some things in the plot kind of come together a bit awkwardly, but overall the movie works hard to get you on its side, and it does a lot of the right stuff and manages to kind of channel, you know, the great things about the tropes of horror and avoid a lot of the bad things about tropes of horror. So yeah, I really like this movie. I'd recommend checking it out. I'm going to give it a score of 8 out of 10. If you've seen Don't Breathe, tell me what you thought in the comments, because I feel like this one's potentially going to be a bit of a dividing point amongst horror fans. So like I say, I'm really interested to hear that. Thanks very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. If you take a look in the description, you'll find a link to my podcast. It's called Ironcast. It is fantastic. It's all about music, various different forms. Really appreciate you checking that out. Also, since you're here, why not subscribe to me? It'd be awesome, really help me out. I love seeing those digit counters roll over. I'm aiming for 200 at the moment. I'm kind of a quarter of the way there. I'm thinking in maybe sort of the next 4 months I might hit 200, so that'd be cool. Thanks very much, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you next time.